This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 1st day of February in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Guyana is moving to set up a border patrol agency to conduct additional monitoring of the country's borders in the wake of the heightening tensions with neighboring Venezuela. In some parts of Region 1, there have been reports of Venezuelan soldiers harassing Guyanese at locations close to the borders. The Guyana Defense Force has increased its presence in many of the areas. Chief of Staff Brigadier Godfrey Bess.
We are continuing to cooperate and work with our friendly militaries in the Caribbean and further afield, which include our neighbor Brazil and Suriname. Our soldiers are strategically positioned to ensure that Guyana's patrimony is upheld and are committed to ensuring that the defense of this country continue to be our main objective.
12 Guyanese fishermen remain in the custody of Venezuela despite calls by the Guyana government and several other countries and international organizations for Venezuela to release the fishermen. Venezuela has not budged from its position and has also rejected recent statements from President Irfaan Ali on the issue. On Saturday, President Irfaan Ali said Guyana will continue to engage the international community and its global partners on the ongoing situation with Venezuela.
Guyana is not averse to engaging Venezuela on bilateral matters in which we have a common interest. These will include dealing with the increasing number of Venezuelans now seeking refuge in Guyana, as well as how we might collaborate as neighboring states in contending with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has spared neither of our two countries. However, such discussions, while welcome, especially if the UN Secretary General wishes to play a good office's role, will have to be preceded by a clear demonstration by Venezuela that it will desist from any further acts of aggression against Guyana, starting with the release of the Guyanese fishermen and their vessels.
The president also said Venezuela needs to release the fishermen and their vessels and desist from its threatening tactics.
Not only do we, Guyanese, regard our cause as right and just, but so too does the international community. We have friends. We are not alone. We have the international community behind us.
Venezuela Coast Guard boats have been increasing their patrols in Guyana's exclusive economic zone, with the last spotting just a few days ago.
We will have observed that the Venezuelan Navy ships have been in our EEZ from the 14th of January, and they have been there intermittently, and we recognize that their mode of movement has been in our EEZ approximately 60 nautical miles east of our median line and approximately 25 nautical miles from the coast of Guyana. The last time they would have been there was on the 27th of January, and we continue to log their operations and inform Foreign Ministry of their operations.
Even with the Guyanese fishermen in custody and Venezuela continuing patrols in Guyana's exclusive economic zone, there is no official warning being issued by the government to other vessels heading out to sea. The president said Guyana's exclusive economic zone belongs to Guyana and it will remain open. He said the Guyana government intends to launch an aggressive public information campaign on the various issues related to Guyana's territorial integrity and the case that is currently before the International Court of Justice. President Ali also said Guyana is united on the issue of its territorial integrity, and nothing that threatens Guyana's territorial integrity will separate the people of Guyana. More news coming up in just a moment.
I'm a lover of dancing. From since I small I danced the foxtrot. I feel a pain in the foot.
Lymphatic filariasis can be a chronic disease, and left long enough without being treated or identified can cause debilitation. If you're infected as a child, it's there, it multiplies in your system, in your body for years until it actually causes damage to the lymphatic system.
So when it started to swell, I couldn't wear sandal, I couldn't wear a shoe.
The stigma that's attached to them, it's something that's overwhelming.
Yeah, these times your name changed. You're no longer who you are, Bigfoot lady.
When they used to share these tablets, I used to disregard them. And when I know the importance of the tablet, when I got this foot, then when they come around again and give me tablets, I throw down my throat in front of them and say, when I go inside and drink some water.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL.
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
What if eliminating lymphatic filariasis was as easy as running the 50-meter sprint? Guyana is then well advanced in the race to eliminate lymphatic filariasis, known commonly as filaria. As we are crossing the finish line, let us remember that this chronic infectious illness can survive in our bodies for years unknowingly before triggering health conditions like hydrocele and elephantitis. What we also know from the current global pandemic is that chronic conditions put you at a higher risk of complications when contracting COVID-19. Your best prevention method is taking your filaria tablets during the mass drug administration campaign. This is the step that takes Guyana closer to the finish line of eliminating filaria as a public health problem. A message from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95 to the. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95 to the. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyoil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyoil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive!
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. With over 1,300 new cases of coronavirus being recorded in the first month of this year, the government of Guyana is moving ahead with a further reopening of the country, even as other countries globally are tightening restrictions against COVID-19. In the updated COVID-19 measures, the government is allowing bars to reopen at 40% of their capacity. 2 weeks ago, indoor dining for restaurants was also approved at 40% capacity. Both bars and restaurants should close their doors nightly by 9:30. Bars in Guyana have been closed since March of 2020. The reopening of bars at 40% capacity comes even as religious organizations are only allowed to host religious services at 25% of the capacity of their buildings. The updated measures will see the 10:30 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew remaining in place, along with several of the other measures that have been in place since last year, including restrictions on event hosting and social gatherings. Prime Minister Mark Phillips, who heads the National COVID-19 Task Force, said citizens must realize that they need to be more responsible in protecting themselves against the pandemic.
Many of the countries around the world that are doing a good job at curbing the spread of COVID-19. If you do a study, you will see the citizens are the ones who took a responsible role in adhering to the measures and ensuring that their family and their community adhere to those measures. The police force is there to do their work. I did outline earlier that our focus is on education, engagement, encouragement, and finally, enforcement. But the onus is on us as a people to be responsible.
Guyana currently has more than 800 active cases of COVID-19. The country's death toll stands at 176, following the death of a 53-year-old woman over the weekend. Canada's new High Commissioner to Guyana, Mark Berman, presented his credentials to President Irfaan Ali this morning, promising to continue the strong and close ties that Guyana and Canada share.
I'm very proud that Canada has been here in Guyana since Guyana's independence and before, and that we continue to be very present and a vocal supporter of Guyana today. And I commit to you to continue to advocate for democracy as we've done for many years, and most recently during Guyana's electoral impasse, and that we will continue to reiterate the importance of the will of the people we respect.
President Ali, in response, reflected on the good relations that have existed between Guyana and Canada for over 50 years, thanking the Canadian government through the High Commissioner for Canada's role in safeguarding democracy in Guyana and Canada's ongoing support of Guyana in the ongoing controversy with Venezuela.
On behalf of the government and people of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, I express our gratitude for Canada's continued support for the peaceful resolution of the border controversy between Guyana and Venezuela that is now before the International Court of Justice.
President Ali also noted that with Guyana on the cusp of major economic transformation, new opportunities for mutually beneficial partnerships are arising, which he said is exemplified by the recent establishment of the Canada-Guyana Chamber of Commerce. With the need for Guyana to become an information technology hub with more businesses and development as a result of the oil and gas sector, the Schlumberger company today donated 100 computers to the non-governmental group Computers for Guyana, in aid of the group's efforts to provide computers to those in need and those looking to develop skills in a new field. Speaking to News Source at the handing over ceremony, the head of the Computers for Guyana group, Agri Marsh, explained that the initiative to provide computers to persons in need, especially single-parent homes, was birthed in a social media post that quickly bore fruit.
Well, we know the need in Guyana is great. The data all around us and is quite empirical. So that the COVID pandemic is pushing us to get a little bit more digital. And as a software and engineer, a few things are going to happen. The students in 3 to 5 to 10 years are going to be all digitally ready students. So Because of that, we are doing our part to reach those persons who simply just don't have the money to buy a computer. They don't have the means. They come from single parents family, and it's not a single parent's mother, but single parent fathers, as you're seeing in our presentation today.
Mr. Marsh stated that while there may be others who have pushed the same initiative, his group has been trying to do its program differently. It was also explained that through the Computers for Guyana initiative, not just coastline communities will benefit.
So far, dealt with about 6 regions, regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Thus far, and we'll continue to serve those communities, but we are now going to focus a little bit more into the hinterland. So 7, 8, and 9 would be our target for the remainder of 2021 with this donation.
The Schlumberger Oil and Gas Company has signaled its intention to continue to play a role in developing the education and social landscape of the country. The company's managing director made that clear.
No, this donation is something that means a lot to us, and this is just one part of our initiative on the global stewardship of the company, where basically we give back to the locations where we work. Okay, so this really means a lot to us.
The managing director said his company will continue to support technology-driven initiatives, since his company depends on technologically qualified persons in its workforce all the time. Parts of the South Rupununi were yesterday rattled by a 5.7 magnitude earthquake that sent tremors to other parts of the country, including sections of Georgetown and surrounding areas. Although there were no reports of injuries, the mid-afternoon earthquake damaged structures and buildings in some Amerindian villages. It was the strongest earthquake to ever be registered in Guyana. Boa Vista in Brazil and several other countries felt the earthquake and its tremors. The Civil Defense Commission has since mobilized its regional response system and is conducting assessments. Affected families are to receive support from the CDC. A Bartica passenger speedboat captain is missing and feared death following a Saturday night collision between his boat and the river ambulance. A police report on the incident said the accident occurred at around 7:50 on a Saturday night in the Essequibo River in the vicinity of Stampa Point, which is close to Bartica. The passenger boat was heading towards Bartica from Parica, while the river ambulance was traveling in the opposite direction. The missing captain of the passenger boat has been identified as Claude Pollard. 4 of his 7 passengers received serious injuries when the two boats collided. There were just 2 persons on the river ambulance and they both received minor injuries. They were rushed to the Bartica hospital where they are being treated. The other passengers are all safe, but the boat captain, who was thrown overboard by the impact of the collision, could not be located. The captain of the river ambulance, Bernard Singh of Bartica, did not sustain serious injuries and was instrumental in getting the injured passengers to Bartica. In a statement, the mayor of Bartica, Gifford Marshall, expressed his prayers to the families of Captain Claude Pollard. Passenger boats that traverse the route are prohibited from operating along the route after 5:30 in the afternoon. The mayor said an investigation into the cause of the accident will be done by the relevant agencies. A Corentyne Berbice farmer is in police custody after stabbing 2 persons to death and injuring a number of other people on Sunday night. The man, Fernando Ravi Ragadu, was reportedly consuming alcohol when he became upset at an argument between 2 persons and rushed into a crowd outside the house, stabbing a number of them. The 2 dead persons have since been identified as Mahendra Ramatar and Surendra Raghunandan. 2 other persons were badly injured and are nursing stab wounds tonight. The incident, according to eyewitnesses, took place within minutes and left those who were gathered at the roadside in a state of shock. The assailant was arrested at his home and will face murder charges soon.
I'm a lover of dancing since small. I danced the foxtrot. I feel a pain in the foot.
Lymphatic filariasis can be a chronic disease, and left long enough without being treated or identified, can cause debilitation. If you're infected as a child, it's there, it multiplies in your system, in your body for years until it actually causes damage to the lymphatic system.
So when it started to swell, I couldn't wear sandal, I couldn't wear a shoe.
The stigma that's attached to them, it's something that's overwhelming.
Yeah, these times your name changed. You're no longer who you are, Bigfoot lady.
When they used to share these tablets, I used to disregard them. And when I know the importance of the tablet, when I got this foot, then when they come around again and give me tablets, I throw down my throat in front of them and say, when I go inside and drink some water.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
Mobile Dalvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Dalvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Due to the impacts of the global pandemic, COVID-19 across our nation, essential organizations like us have chosen to adopt innovative approaches to meet the emerging needs of our customers while protecting our employees. Here are some quick tips to make managing your GPL bill easier while we practice social distancing. To register for electronic billing, you can use the e-billing tab on your website. To access your bill balance, you can use 4 options: the website live chat at gpl.net, the online inquiry on our website under billing, SMS freedom by texting your GPL reference number to 624-0400 or 608-8400, or call our call center at 226-2600. A message from the Guyana Power and Light Incorporated.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mobile Dalvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Dalvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
What if eliminating lymphatic filariasis was as easy as running the 50-meter sprint? Guyana is then well advanced in the race to eliminate lymphatic filariasis, known commonly as filaria. As we are crossing the finish line, let us remember that this chronic infectious illness can survive in our bodies for years unknowingly before triggering health conditions like hydrocele and elephantitis. What we also know from the current global pandemic is that chronic conditions put you at a higher risk of complications when contracting COVID-19. Your best prevention method is taking your filaria tablets during the Mass Drug Administration campaign. This is the step that takes Guyana closer to the finish line of eliminating filaria as a public health problem. A message from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO.
Across the region tonight, Cuban authorities say they will tighten measures against the spread of COVID-19 to require tourists and other visitors to isolate at their own expense for several days until tests for the new coronavirus come out negative. The announcement over the weekend by Cuba's Director of Epidemiology came as the country announced 910 new infections of the new virus detected on Friday, as well as 3 additional deaths. The officials said that as of the 6th of February, arriving tourists and Cubans who live abroad will be sent to hotels at their own expense to wait for the results of a PCR test for the new coronavirus, which will be given on the 5th day in the country. A similar measure was imposed in the spring, and it partly helped stem the spread of the virus. Cubans returning home from abroad will be housed in other centers at government expense to await test results. Diplomats and some categories of foreign business people will be allowed to isolate at home. Cuba has recorded more than 25,000 cases of coronavirus, with 213 deaths recorded since last March. The British Virgin Islands has implemented a ban on flights from Brazil and South Africa in wake of reports of new strains of COVID-19 emerging in those 2 countries. The announcement was made by the Health Minister Carvin Malone. This is in addition to a travel ban on flights from the Dominican Republic and United Kingdom that came into effect on the 11th of January. The official stated that the ban, which was implemented to protect the public from COVID-19, does not apply to BVI nationals, belongers, residents, work permit holders, diplomats, and government workers traveling from those countries. The health minister reiterated that those persons would be subjected to a 14-day quarantine period once they traveled from the affected countries. And finally tonight, international news. Israel's vaccination program is showing signs of working to drive down infections and illness in persons over the age of 60. The fall appears to be most pronounced in older people and areas furthest ahead in their immunization efforts. This suggests it is the vaccine and not just the country's current lockdown that's taking effect. Israel Ministry of Health figures show that 531 persons over the age of 60 out of almost 750,000 fully vaccinated tested positive for coronavirus, and far fewer fell ill, with 38 becoming hospitalized with moderate, severe, or critical disease, a tiny proportion. The Ministry of Health assessed the medical records of almost 1 million people in total. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.